If there's one thing consistent about Google's Pixel phone releases, it's the inevitable wave of leaks that precede them. And guess what? This time around is no different. The whispers were right, again. Google has officially unveiled its newest addition to the budget lineup, the Pixel 9a. After getting some exclusive hands-on experience, it's clear that while the 9a might not scream radical innovation, it still brings something compelling to the table, especially when you consider the price point. In a world where smartphones are edging dangerously close to the $1,000 mark, it's refreshing to see a solid performer hold its ground at $499, just like its predecessor. No surprise markup, no gimmicky pricing. Just value. Price holds steady, but value climbs. Let's address the elephant in the room first. Yes, the Pixel 9a is still a $499 phone. In a time where everything from groceries to gas seems to be affected by inflation, tariffs, and fluctuating supply chains, maintaining that price tag is a win. It feels like Google knows the sweet spot for a mid-range audience and decided not to mess with it. And frankly, that's a smart move. The price consistency makes the 9a a formidable contender in the affordable premium space, especially when many alternatives are either skimping on essential features or hiking prices unnecessarily. A design that dials it down. Let's talk looks. The Pixel 9a is not what you'd call a head-turner. In fact, the design might feel a little uninspired at first glance. Compared to last year's bolder design with a signature visor look that screamed Pixel, this year's iteration plays it safe. Too safe, perhaps. Gone is that easily recognizable visor camera module. Instead, what we have is a flat, no-frills rear panel that doesn't try too hard to stand out. It's minimalist, but also a bit too minimalist. It's not ugly by any means, but it doesn't quite capture the same visual identity we saw emerging with last year's lineup. No camera bump? Finally. But here's the twist. The Pixel 9a has no camera bump. Yep, you read that right. The entire rear panel is flush. No protruding lenses. No awkward wobbles on flat surfaces. Just a smooth backplate that feels cohesive and, frankly, overdue. People have been shouting from the rooftops for years now. We don't care if the phone is a few millimeters thicker. Ditch the bump and fill the extra space with battery. And Google actually listened. They delivered an 8.9 millimeters thick phone with the largest battery ever in a Pixel device, a massive 5,100 mAh cell. That's even more than what the Pro XL offered last year. It's the kind of spec bump that gets practical users excited, even if it's not flashy. Powerhouse internals for the price. Under the hood, the Pixel 9a doesn't compromise. It packs the same Tensor G4 processor that powers the flagship Pixel 9 series. Add 8 GB of RAM and 128 GB of onboard storage, and you're looking at a performance package that feels decidedly high-end. Navigating through menus, multitasking, and launching apps is snappy. The Tensor G4 might not benchmark as high as the latest Snapdragon or Apple Silicon chips, but in day-to-day use, it gets the job done with elegance and efficiency. Display, flagship feel on a budget. Size-wise, the Pixel 9a mirrors its flagship sibling almost identically with a 6.3-inch OLED display. It boasts the same 120 Hz refresh rate, though it ships with 60 Hz enabled by default. Enable that high refresh mode, and it becomes silky smooth, just like a premium device. The resolution and brightness remain top tier for this class, although the contrast ratio is slightly reduced compared to the Pixel 9. It's a Gorilla Glass 3 panel instead of Victus 2, which may not matter much unless you're actively trying to scratch it. Overall, for a mid-range phone, the display is a big win. Build quality and water resistance. The chassis is constructed with flat aluminum rails, giving it a solid, premium feel in hand. However, the back is plastic, unlike the glass finish on the flagship models. If you're someone who always uses a case, this won't matter. But if you prefer a naked phone, the plastic might feel like a step down. On the bright side, plastic often fares better when dropped, and it's less prone to shatter. Plus, Google has stepped things up in another crucial area. The Pixel 9a is now IP68 rated, meaning it's dust and water resistant to a higher standard than last year's IP67 Pixel 8a, the battery champion. Let's circle back to what makes this phone really special, the battery. At 5,100 milliamp hours, it's a beast. It doesn't just offer longevity, it redefines it for the Pixel lineup. Even with the high refresh rate turned on and regular use of data-intensive apps, you're looking at a phone that can easily cruise through a day and a half. Wireless charging is still present, albeit slower than the flagship, but having that convenience at this price point is a big deal. Charging via cable is also slower than some rivals, but the bigger battery offsets that pain point significantly. Software. All the Google goodies. While Google has restricted early access content creators from showing software in their reviews this time, which is a bit of a head-scratcher, we did get to use it off-camera. And here's the good news. The Pixel 9a retains all the signature software features that define the Pixel experience. That means you still get Magic Eraser, Photo Unblur, Call Screening, Live Translate, Now Playing, and all the AI-powered tools that Pixel fans love. You also get 7 years of software updates, including security patches, Android upgrades, and the famous Pixel feature drops. In essence, there are no software sacrifices here. It's the same smart, clean, and helpful experience you'd expect from a premium Pixel, bundled into a more affordable device. Camera setup. Great, but not groundbreaking. On the back, the dual-camera array consists of a 48MP main shooter and a 13MP ultra-wide lens. It's the same tried-and-true combo that Pixel fans will recognize. And yes, night sight is still present and works beautifully. Photos are crisp, vibrant, and loaded with detail. While it may not have the telephoto versatility of the Pixel 9 Pro, it holds its own remarkably well. You get that signature Pixel image processing that turns ordinary snapshots into polished shots with minimal effort. Where it lands in the lineup. What makes the Pixel 9a compelling this year is its positioning. Unlike the Pixel 8a, which felt squeezed between the Pixel 8 and cheaper competitors, the 9a finds its footing confidently. Last year, the Pixel 8 often dropped to $550, which put it dangerously close to the 8 as launch price and made it hard to recommend the latter. But now, the Pixel 9 retails around $649, giving the 9a a wider price buffer and more room to shine. You're not just buying a compromise anymore. You're buying a phone that earns its price tag and brings more to the table than just being cheap. Peony and Iris. Fun with finishes. Once again, Google is offering the Pixel 9a in a set of expressive colors: obsidian, black, porcelain, white, a soft pink tone called peony, and a dynamic blue-purple hue named Iris. That last one changes depending on how the light hits it, and it's easily the most visually interesting of the bunch. It's a nice touch, offering color choices that feel less corporate and more personal. Final thoughts. A big win for budget buyers. To wrap it up, the Pixel 9a is not a revolutionary phone, but it is a thoughtful, well-rounded, and value-packed offering that gets nearly everything right. Want great battery life?
Check.